Forza Horizon 4. Many people consider it a success. I consider it a complete failure. Here are 20 reasons why Horizon 4 fell short of everyone's expectations. Enjoy. Do you guys remember Need for Speed Payback? It's a great example of what can happen to a game when it has a lackluster launch. As the game lacked many essential features, the game's hype and potential was pretty much destroyed. And I feel the same thing happened to Horizon 4. It was hard to stay positive when the whole community was complaining about stability issues, constant game crashes, and a lack of content. When people criticize a game constantly on social media, less people end up buying and playing it. And I think this is really detrimental to Horizon 4's life cycle, especially since it's now in a 3-year cycle as opposed to the standard 2-year cycle. Now imagine if Horizon 4 launched with all the features it has today. In my opinion, if Horizon 4 was completely finished at launch, it would have left us with a lot more to do and enjoy, and people would have turned away from complaining about the map immediately. But since the game was unfinished at launch, I'm gonna complain about the map.
Let's go. No masterpiece.
I know the game being set in Britain was just inevitable, and it was probably a good thing that they got it over with, but I question a lot of things about Horizon 4's map. One main thing being the fact that London didn't make an appearance at all. After Horizon 3, I thought it would be obvious that some sort of modern city would be essential for a Horizon game. The fact that there was nothing modern in Horizon 4's map really bothered me, and in my opinion, it made the map boring. The whole area was either fields or really bland looking buildings. Although the map is beautiful and unique in its own way, I feel as if the realism turn 10 chase just didn't contribute to the overall experience you'd expect from a Horizon game. When you make the map after realism and lack realism in other areas, it just doesn't make sense.
It make no sense. It make no sense.
Although I personally couldn't care less about damage models, it's really interesting to me that older Forza games like Motorsport 3 have extremely good damage models with debris and even bumpers that can fall off your car. But modern Forza games like Horizon have nothing close to this. I'm sure if they delivered equal damage models to what they had over 10 years ago, people would be a lot more fond of Horizon 4 and they'd see a lot more improvement over Horizon 3. But unfortunately, there was a lot that got worse after Horizon 3. One thing that definitely got worse after Horizon 3 was the car sounds. Yeah, we've all heard literally everyone complain about car sounds, and you know, I will admit, some car sounds like the Aventador V12 are extremely accurate. You'll have perfect car sounds like these, and then you'll have some sounds like the ones from the 2 new Celicas. Yeah, the Celica sounds were literally recycled from the Type R. Although this is understandable because there's so many cars in the game, why is it that car sounds that were perfect in Horizon 2 and 3 made completely awful in Horizon 4? If it's viable to recycle the Celica sounds from a completely unrelated car, why isn't it viable to recycle perfect car sounds from Horizon 3? It just doesn't make sense. One main feature that kept me playing Horizon 3 nearly every day for over a year after its release was the Playground Games mode. The maps were perfect, and features such as the ability to vote for your next set of maps and modes, as well as the different map sizes, made it a very fun mode to play. But in Horizon 4, many of these features were removed. Variable map sizes wasn't even a thing anymore, and you couldn't vote for your next set of maps after a game would end. And it doesn't help that in Horizon 4, it's literally impossible to find a lobby with more than one other random person, where in Horizon 3, even 2 years after the release, I would find lobbies full of 12 people. In Horizon 3, the successful additions of Blizzard Mountain and the Hot Wheels Island helped extend the life of the game significantly. While the original game itself was amazing, the expansions made it even better and to this day managed to still be entertaining to drive around on. I can't say the same about Horizon 4. Although Fortune Island was decent, I feel it was still lacking things like playground events and entertaining things to do other than drifting. And don't even get me started on the LEGO expansion. Like, I don't even need to explain the LEGO expansion at all. Like, that shit was ass.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number.
Speaking of ass, the inability to change time and season on demand is by far the most annoying thing on this list. I don't know if Turn 10 was going for realism in this aspect, but I can vouch for my friends in saying that trying to take a thumbnail shot when it's winter and constantly raining can be a huge waste of time. Once it took me 40 minutes to shoot a thumbnail because it was either nighttime or raining for that long. In Horizon 3, you could visit beauty spots or midnight events and change the time immediately. Also, why is there a universal locked season for everyone, even in Horizon Solo? The inability to choose leads a lot of people to not get on the game when it's an undesirable season. So why not fix this and just let people choose what season they want to be in? Now I know that Horizon 4 is over 700 cars and adding customization to all of them would be nearly impossible, but I think the whole attitude in terms of content in Horizon 4 is completely wrong. In Horizon 2 and 3, it was safe to say that car quality was prioritized over quantity. However, in Horizon 4, it seemed as if all Turn 10 did was pump cars into the game without adding anything customization wise other than Forza Aero. In my opinion, car quality over quantity would be a lot better. Adding cars that people actually want in the game and giving diverse customization options would be a lot more enjoyable than adding over 300 extra cars that don't have much personality at all. I think a huge issue Horizon 4 had was the lack of any sort of storyline. It makes you feel like you're playing for nothing and you never get a sense of completion. This issue affected the game immediately, as after launch, people just had no reason to get on anymore. And at this point, the only reason people get on Horizon 4 is to get cars from the seasonal playlists or monthly updates. And although there was some effort made to add storylines, they just weren't really complete or even remotely entertaining. I really hope that in future Horizons this issue will be fixed and we will have some sort of storyline or progression. Whenever I'd go online, especially after Horizon 4's launch, I'd usually be able to play only one event before I'd be disconnected from my convoy or just be forced to wait over 2 minutes for my game to finally load me into the convoy I was in. When streaming the game, you can imagine this would get very annoying. Even when racing with randoms, it would be common to get disconnects for no reason in the middle of races, even with good internet. So please, Turn 10, fix your servers for the next Horizon. I feel that as time went on, quality of life in Horizon 4 barely improved. If not, it definitely got worse. In one of the recent updates, Turn 10 added a feature where your car resets after 2 seconds of not being on the ground. An issue that still happens to me to this day is where your map will go invisible and your car will freeze. It's been happening since the game's launch, so why hasn't this been fixed? Another big issue since launch is slow menus. Even when upgrading your car or navigating the pause menu, there is a significant amount of lag on console. One thing that I find annoying is auction house sniping, which I guarantee hasn't been looked at by anyone at Turn 10. If you want to transfer a rare car to one of your friends, most of the time an auction house sniper will buy it before your friend even gets to it. So maybe we should get a gifting feature, something Gran Turismo 5 had in 2009, please? Offline races in Horizon 4 are extremely boring. The AIs are either way too easy or way too hard. If you set the difficulty to unbeatable, you'll have 10 of the AIs behind you and one AI about 10 miles ahead of you. Also, a lot of the times I'll pick a road race and end up having to race on dirt later on in the race. Why are road types so misleading? I think the rally focus of Horizon 4 is cool to an extent. Rally just gets boring after a while, as it seems as if almost every race in Horizon 4 involves it. Why can't it be like Horizon 3 where you had road races that were actual road races and rally races that were completely off-road? I don't want to choose a rear-wheel drive Camaro for a race I think is going to be on the road and then have to go off-road and lose. When you first played Horizon 4, I could almost guarantee that you didn't have to bother racing with a low-end car because you won a hypercar from a wheel spin. This is a huge issue. I don't know any other games that are so generous to new players. When I look at a great progression model, I think of Gran Turismo 6, where everyone starts off with a Honda Fit and works their way up to better cars. If you have VIP or any sort of DLC from Horizon 4, right off the bat you'll be given extremely good cars and you'll progress through the races way too fast, which kind of takes away from the whole point of the game, to work up from the bottom. Nobody wants to have a super wheel spin and win 3 clothing items. It's hypocritical to say because I just complained about how wheel spins give you good cars, but in my opinion, super wheel spins should be much more rare and wheel spins should also be more rare than they are now. But they should be guaranteed to not give you clothes or shitty emotes. Festival in Horizon 4 sucks, and I hate how there's only one festival on the whole map. There was a sense of completion in Horizon 3 when you'd unlock all the different festivals in the game, but with only one festival in Horizon 4 and that festival being kinda... The soundtrack in Horizon 4 also doesn't fit a festival vibe at all. I feel like I really don't need to explain this one. The few good songs in Horizon 4 were ruined because they were overplayed on the menus or even on the radio. In my opinion, if Turn 10 wants to have a bunch of indie tracks in the game, they should make it a separate radio station instead of having it dominate Base Arena. In Horizon 1, they had a bunch of legendary songs, and the fact that not even a single legendary song is in Horizon 4 is just really unmemorable. Especially since in 2018, there were so many good EDM tracks released, and the fact that they chose to include songs like this over songs like this makes it seem like the soundtrack was rushed or just not even looked at. A big turnoff at the beginning of the game and even now is how bad online multiplayer races are, especially back when wall riding was still a thing. The red versus blue team events were dull and boring, and the lack of solo multiplayer races against randoms was also really boring. And the fact that ranked was held so badly, and the fact that it took you almost 40 minutes to queue into a game right after the game came out and there was a bunch of people playing was just horrible. Personally, I haven't played online multiplayer in Horizon 4 since 2018, so I can't comment on the state of it now, but considering how I don't know anyone who plays it, it's probably equally as boring. With Horizon 2 and Horizon 3's main attractions being a large airport for minigames and drag races, and I get the whole Gymkhana thing, but not everyone is Don Juan's song. Jumping and drifting around crates is only entertaining for a bit of time, but drag racing and finding new tunes and faster cars is entertaining for the life of the game. Although the festival drag strip is cool, I really miss being able to do 1 mile top speed drags. I think an airport will be an essential feature for Horizon 5, and I really hope we get a large one as opposed to whatever this was. I get that 72-player lobbies was a selling point, but in my opinion, they should be removed from the next Horizon. The feature is really pointless, as being in a 72-player lobby doesn't matter when you can only see 12 other players at a time, and most of the time those 12 people don't interact with you or anyone else at all. It seems as if 72 people playing on the same server only adds lag. Being in a convoy with randoms can get very annoying, as demonstrated by this.
God, I got the stupid Gurkha in the way. Go away! You're literally parked right behind him, you freaking fat ass. Move.
I mean, I get it, not everyone's a YouTuber, but you can imagine how much of an issue this is, as this happens with almost every thumbnail my friends have to shoot. And that is it for today's video. Now, I feel I was being really harsh and nitpicky with all my points, but it was definitely necessary to speak about Horizon 4's issues. My main goal of making this video was so that developers can see and possibly make changes in the next game as a result. I love the Horizon series, and honestly, Horizon 4 was still a very good game, and it was definitely playable for me. But I hope Horizon 5 just grows off of what Horizon 4 was and doesn't make the same mistakes. With that being said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash like, as the more likes this video has, the more of a chance Turn 10 has to see it. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.